Tax Freedom Day is a measure of how much time taxpayers spend working for somebody else's benefit, in this case government GDP, and it's 5 months' worth of salaries or income to pay for 1 year's worth of government spending.
Well, there is evidence that larger tax burden does slow down growth. Mechanism would be that profits are quite sensitive to tax rates, and if profits are squeezed, then investment goes down, employment goes down, and eventually long-term growth slows down.
South Africa's economy is plodding along at a 1% growth rate expected for 2017, added to which the relatively high tax rate is impacting the country's engine room.
I imagine small businesses are even more sensitive to the tax rates than the big businesses. So it's more likely to influence them.
The trend is such that the tax burden at the lower end of startups needs to be freed, because if you're confronted with not only the onerous effort of trying to appease the regulator with the right paper, red tape, and only pay also higher tax rates, it just encourages small, medium enterprises, entrepreneurship.
A different perspective suggests that the focus shouldn't be on the rate, but on the return.
20% would be a very high tax rate if you get nothing back. And I think the complaint in South Africa is that at the marginal level in particular, the rate is high and the return is extremely low.
While Tax Freedom Day is about individual taxpayers, on a broader level, the tax regime also affects corporates.
Taxes can be problematic when investors have to stack up which country will be more attractive. It can erode competitiveness because there are countries that solely construct their tax structures in a way that they will attract specific markets.
Many countries could learn valuable lessons from Chile, for example.
Ministry of Trade and Industry, will offer you a $90,000 grant if you show them an entrepreneurial idea that they think is viable. You don't have to be Chilean to get that grant. You can come from anywhere in the world, and so they call this an entrepreneurship visa. And they will give you $90,000. In other words, a negative $90,000 tax rate.
Taxes can be used to stimulate economic growth in any country in the world, and if it's used properly, it can also stimulate innovation. I'm Angelo, COPPOLA for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.